Hello team, welcome to the DevOps training. And before dive deep into the Git, let's try to understand some basic terminology of Git. So as we have already discussed, Git keeps everything inside the repository on user's local machine. And these repositories basically contains the files which could be your source file, which could be your images, which could be your resources, right? The history of your commits, the configuration which is managed by the Git, right? So in local repository where we have the copy from the remote repository, like all the repository have these files, okay? The files, the history, and the configuration managed by the Git, right? So we can understand it with this particular example. Suppose on the left side we have our working repository where we have the final version of my code, right? But in your local, if you will initialize the Git and you have the Git repository, then you will find out a repository with .git extension, right? You will find a hidden repository inside your Git which is .git repository, like, and that .git repository will contain all the versions of your file. That particular .git repository have the complete history of your commits and your versions you have done during your Git, okay? Oh, sorry, you have done using the Git, right? So this is basically the working model of the Git. Don't worry if you are not able to relate the things right now. Please stay with me. Whenever we will see the practical use of the Git, then definitely we will be able to relate these things. But this is required to explain these things earlier because this will provide you a complete picture of the Git, that how Git will work and what we are going to learn in the Git. Now, there are three stages of the Git. The first stage is called the working directory. Working directory is the directory where the developer, where the automation testers, and anyone is basically writing the code or putting anything which they want to commit using the Git, right? Either you have the source file, either you have the resources, all the things what you are planning to commit using the Git, you kept in your working directory, right? Then the second area which comes in the picture is called the staging area. Staging area is the area where you have committed your Git changes, but you still not pushed your Git changes over the remote repository or over the server. So basically there are three stages in the Git. First, you have your working directory where you are putting your source file, right? Then you will commit your changes, okay? Suppose this is the Wednesday, okay? This is the Wednesday morning, and you will start working on something, okay? But before leaving the office in the evening, you want to commit your changes because you have fear, okay, if something is going bad, then definitely I will lose my whole day work. So before leaving the office, I would like to check in my code. I would like to commit my code, right? I would like to commit my source file, right? So that area where the code is committed, where the source file are committed, but they still not pushed on the server, this area is called the staging area, okay? This is pre-commit holding area, right? Now when you commit the code to the Git repository, that's called basically the final version, okay, which is basically available on the Git, right? Now the third and sorry, the fourth thing is master repository, right? Sorry, the remote repository. Remote repository is something, guys, where on the server, which is the server where you are basically committing your code, right? Which is generally use the GitHub. Then the concept of the master branch. So master branch is a branch. Basically what is branch, we need to understand this thing, okay? So let's try this example. Here you are committing your code by the time, right? So branch is a stream where you are committing your changes timely, right? Branch is a stream where you are committing your changes. In the Git you can have multiple branch, but by default when you will initialize the Git, it will initialize your Git repository with the master branch. So stay tuned. In the coming tutorials we will dive deep into the Gits and we will see the basic concept and the advanced concepts of the Git. So thank you, guys.